What is up, Smogon? It is I, Jesus, and today I am going to be providing you with some battle commentary. That is right, first time ever. I am branching out, people. I would like to apologize for filming this on my potato, but I am currently unemployed and it's the best I could do. This was a friendly battle between my mentor Hugh and I. Hui? Yeah, Hui. And I lead with Zapdos and T-Tar here, and he decides to go with Driftbloom and Sable. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for mispronouncing a bunch of these Pokemon's names. The truth is, I can't pronounce half the names on the Pokédex. There's just too many of them nowadays. But here, Hui goes for the trick instead of fake out, and that kind of caught me off guard. I really didn't expect that, and I didn't know what he was going for with that, but no worries for me. I wasn't really taking this battle too seriously. I was just out to have fun with Hui, so I just went with spread moves, Heat Wave and Rock Slide, and I was hoping for the best here. You know, I think Pokemon nowadays is just too serious. You don't really get too many chances to just have a fun battle with a friend and just relax and not depend too much on whether you win or lose. And you know what? I'm also gonna go ahead and apologize for the song playing in the background. It is my little brother, and you know what? Kids these days and their music, there's really nothing you can do about it. You know what? It's me. You know what? I like this song. I like Lonely Island, and I sometimes have it playing in the background, and I even sing it in the shower sometimes. You know what? If you're gonna judge me, hey, it's whatever. It's nothing I can do about that. So he switches out his Sableye for his Verizon, whilst I continue my spread move campaign. And this is quite unfortunate. He takes down my Zapdos with his Destiny Bond, and now I understand why he tricked a lagging tail on my Zapdos. He wanted to be the fastest thing on the field so he could set up Destiny Bond. And it's quite unfortunate that I lose Zapdos instead of T-Tar, because half his team was weak to my Zapdos. I send out Latios here to take out his Verizon, knowing that I'd be the fastest thing on the field. He of course sends out his Sableye. I protect on T-Tar, predicting a fighting move from his Verizon, and he fakes out my Latios, which I expected. As you can see here, he did go for Sacred Sword. Next turn I go for his Verizon here, and he predicts that perfectly. He protects on his Verizon, and he tricks Chocolate Berry off of my T-Tar, which sucks because now I cannot survive a fighting move from his Verizon. I go for the Psyshock, but of course he predicted that and protected, and I take out his Sableye with my Crunch. So at this point I was determined to take out his Verizon, so I really wasn't worried because I was the fastest thing on the field with Latios. But no, his Cloyster apparently is scarfed. This is worse than Zakdros scarfed Mamoswine, I swear. Nowadays you can't really rely on speed anymore. It's ridiculous. And he with him surprising me with his scarfed Icicle Spear and taking out my Latios, that left my T-Tar wide open to his Verizon. And fortunately I survived barely, but I go for a Crunch on his Cloyster instead because once again I wasn't really expecting his Verizon to be alive at this point. This put me in a corner here. I sent out my last Pokemon, Cresselia. He goes for the Icicle Spear on my Cresselia, but I'm not too worried about it because Cresselia is a beast, of course. Eats it up like nothing. He crits and all, but it's whatever. We both throw hacks at each other throughout this battle, but I'm gonna give it to him and say my hacks was more significant just because his hacks really didn't matter in the grander scheme of things, whereas my hacks kind of were game changing. I go for I go for a para on his cloister, and next turn I had a choice between rest and psychicking his Verizon, and I decide to psychic anyways. And thank God he did not protect on his Verizon. He just light screen, and I go for the psychic to take out his Verizon, but this was of course game for me because Icicle Spear would kill me at this point. And you know, I was ready to reach out my hand and say good game, but oh, look at that, his cloister was fully paralyzed. This is a game of Pokemon and things like this happen. There's really nothing you can do about it. God, I'm so tired. This is a tale of Tony Montana. Ames, let me take it home. So yeah, after that, paralyzed. He gets paralyzed again, and you know, at this point I knew I had the game. I didn't even need for him to be paralyzed the second time around, but that's why I like Thunder Wave over Icy Wind, because Thunder Wave gives you the speed drop and you get awesome hacks like that. So yeah, good game to you, Hui. Oh yeah, of course I get Wi-Fi hacks. Thanks a lot.